Shave and a haircut. 2 bits. What the? Hello and welcome to the... I even changed shirts too. That is a really weird episode. Hello and welcome to a long forgotten episode of X and Y, where it's your reality from my perspective. There's been a lot of talk today about Super Mario Run for the Android and the iPhone. It's coming out first on iPhone and iPad this December. It's $9.99 for the full game. Apparently it's free to play for like a second. I don't know. The source for today's video comes from the beautiful tweeter Nyleak, who said, "I can't believe people are excited for Super Mario Run, a $10 app." Well, that's a bit of a misnomer in today's day and age, where there's actually a clear line between app and game. I would definitely constitute Mario Run as a game, whereas something like Miitomo would be more like an app, although that's more of a social media platform than anything. In my eyes, I would define an app to be an application or a program that serves to fulfill a function, such as, I have an app for voice recorder on my phone, and I use that to record my voice to submit to the editor for a podcast I'm on NintendoFever.com. Quick plug. It's a cool site. Go check it out. I write for it. There's a plethora of apps on the App Store or the Google Play Store if you're an Android user, such as Maps for GPS and routing, a compass so you can better follow the North Star. They even have Microsoft Word for your phone so you can write your Donald Trump smut fan fiction on the go. And that's just 3 examples. Whereas a game, games transcend all sorts of types of mediums. They have card games, board games, video games. That's the one we're talking about today. And the video games come across even more types of platforms. Hell, they even put video games on a TI-82 calculator. Now, there's all sorts of unfortunate inclusions you have to make in saying that kind of statement, such as Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird is, unfortunately, technically a game, whereas something like Miitomo features gameplay that centers around you dressing up your Mii character and answering questions. And aside from the countless ports of games such as Final Fantasy or Grand Theft Auto, they also have loads of original games like Chaos Rings or even Candy Crush. In terms of Nintendo-based mobile games, you have Pokemon Go, which is, I would argue it's more of a game than an app, although it's basically the same game over and over again. I guess you could say the same about Candy Crush. But Pokemon Go is basically a mini-game of catching Pokemon, where you flick the Pokeballs at the Pokemon to try and catch them. You actually move your character in the game by moving around yourself and your phone on the actual real world. That is a one-for-one in-game map. Even with that, I'd still technically call it a game. Now, for something like Mario Run, for example, that is apparently a runner game, a la Temple Run, where your character is consistently moving until you tap the screen. In this case, when you tap the screen, you cause Mario to jump. You can also make him wall jump if you time it right. So, even though Mario is technically always moving, there is gameplay elements to it. You do interact with the medium to cause interference with the playback. That, in my opinion, constitutes a video game, as opposed to just a standard app. So, Mario Run, definitely a video game. Now, for the better question, is it worth $9.99? Well, that's obviously then coming down to you, the consumer. So, if you're into that sort of thing, it might not be that much of a cost. $10 for a video game, despite any medium that it's on, it was actually pretty good, especially when you consider most games, despite the medium, are roughly $30 to $60 a pop. But, no matter how good Pokemon Sun or Pokemon Moon are going to be, I would not spend $60 for one copy of the game, because that's only a 3DS game. And since Mario Run is on the mobile platforms, maybe $10 is a little too much. So that boils down to how much content will there be in the game. In my opinion, if Mario Run turns out to have your standard fare of 8 worlds, 4 levels per world, then $10 really isn't that bad. Especially when you factor in the other 2 modes they're including, which I really haven't read too much into them, but they're still there. I mean, you can't expect the same kind of endless fun like you'd get out of Mario Maker, where for the Nintendo Wii U would pay $60 for the game, but you can literally play and create as many levels of any kind of variety, well, almost any kind of variety, that you can actually dream of. For a game like that, $60 is well worth the price, because the amount of hours of gameplay you'd be able to get out of it are virtually limitless. For something like Mario Run, I suppose they could always do DLC, and if it's free, it would even more justify the fact that it's $10. But, at its base, again, $10 for the full game may or may not be too much. And, again, that'll all come down to you, the consumer. So, if you like Mario games, and you're down for partaking in a little Nintendo experiment, then I can say that Mario Run would be a very headstrong purchase for you. Though it should go without saying that there will definitely have to be some sort of light or demo version that you can try out before you commit to spending $10 on it, whether it's worth it or not. It's really all there is to say about an app versus a game. Even if a game is made for a mobile platform, it's still technically a game, even though it's not marketed on a traditional platform. Hell, even Nintendo's newest console, the Nintendo Switch, is basically a little tablet. I mean, sure, you can plug it into its base and play it like a traditional console, but you can also attach the controllers on the side and take it with you. And if you take the controllers off the side, it's basically a small tablet, like a smartphone without the phone features. And probably worse battery. I won't be surprised if they put Mario Run on it. But, speaking of traditional platforms, if you are into The Legend of Zelda, you can head over to nintendofever.com, where I've been writing articles on, starting from the original Legend of Zelda forward. It'll be leading up to the eventual release of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Wii U and the Nintendo Switch. There's also tons of other articles, reviews, and other content on video games and video game-like things. And until next time, this has been Arthur with X and Y, where it's my reality from your perspective. Smash that motherfucking like button! I really should write a script. It'd be way easier. It would be way easier to do this with a script.